Compassionate Leadership: How to Do Hard Things in a Human Way is a powerful guide for modern leaders navigating the complexities of the workplace. In today's world, where burnout, stress, and disconnection are all too common, this book offers a refreshing yet practical message. You don't have to choose between being strong and being kind. You can lead with both courage and compassion. Written by leadership experts Rasmus Hougaard and Jacqueline Carter, this book is based on extensive research and insights gathered from over 35,000 leaders and executives around the globe. The authors blend cutting-edge neuroscience, real-world examples, and ancient wisdom to redefine what effective leadership looks like in the 21st century. Whether you're a CEO, manager, teacher, or team leader, this book challenges you to rethink how you give feedback, make tough decisions, hold people accountable, and still maintain trust and humanity. It's not just about being nice. It's about being clear, consistent, and deeply human in how you lead. In a time when emotional intelligence is more valuable than ever, compassionate leadership equips you to do the hard things, like firing, confronting, or setting high standards, without losing your soul or damaging others in the process. Lesson 1. Balance wisdom with compassion. This is the heart of compassionate leadership. The authors make a compelling case. To lead effectively in today's world, you need more than just intelligence or empathy. You need both. Wisdom without compassion can come off as cold and uncaring. Compassion without wisdom can lead to indecisiveness or poor judgment. But when a leader combines clear-headed decision-making with a genuine concern for people, something powerful happens. The data backs it up. Teams led by leaders who show both wisdom and compassion experience. 85% higher job satisfaction, 61% greater organizational commitment, and 64% lower burnout. That's not just a feel-good result, it's a performance advantage. This lesson encourages leaders to stop seeing wisdom and compassion as opposites. Instead, they're complementary forces, like two wings of the same bird. Only together can leadership truly take flight. In tough moments, when layoffs happen, feedback must be delivered, or changes are needed, leaders should ask, what is the wisest thing to do? What is the kindest way to do it? When you lead with both the head and the heart, you build trust. You create loyalty, and you make it safe for people to show up fully at work. In short, the best leaders today are not just smart or kind. They are wisely compassionate. Lesson 2. The Wise Compassion Flywheel: 4 Key Behaviors. In the book Compassionate Leadership, the authors introduce a powerful model called the Wise Compassion Flywheel. It's more than a framework. It's a cycle of behavior that strengthens itself over time, creating a culture where people feel safe, seen, and motivated to grow. At the core of this flywheel are 4 key leadership behaviors, and each one reinforces the next. Let's break them down. 1. Caring presence. This is where it all begins. Before reacting, deciding, or leading, be present. Leaders who are mentally and emotionally present create space for others to be seen and heard. It shows respect. It builds psychological safety. Presence means listening without distraction, observing without judgment, and responding with clarity. 2. Caring courage. Leadership often requires tough calls. Caring courage is about choosing truth over comfort. It's about addressing problems head-on, not avoiding them, but doing so with compassion. This could mean giving tough feedback, making a difficult staffing decision, or initiating a necessary but unpopular change. Courage becomes powerful when it's grounded in care, not ego. 3. Caring candor. Candor is clarity with kindness. This behavior encourages leaders to speak the truth, clearly, directly, and respectfully. It's not about being brutally honest. It's about being helpfully honest. When feedback is given in this way, it helps people grow without feeling diminished. Candor builds trust, and trust fuels performance. 4. Caring transparency. Transparency means sharing the why behind decisions, not just the what. When people understand the reasons behind actions, they're more likely to engage, adapt, and trust. Transparency removes the fog. It removes fear, and it helps everyone move in the same direction. Together, these four behaviors form a flywheel, a leadership cycle that, once in motion, sustains itself. The more you practice one, the stronger the others become. And as this flywheel turns, it generates momentum. Momentum toward a culture that thrives on clarity, courage, and care. This is the engine of compassionate leadership. Start with presence. Act with courage. Speak with candor. Lead with transparency. Repeat, and watch your team transform. Lesson 3. Shift from a conflict mentality to alignment. Many leaders fall into an old, limiting belief that what's good for the business must come at the cost of what's good for the people. But in compassionate leadership, the authors challenge this mindset. They say this conflict is a false choice. Compassionate leadership isn't about choosing between people and performance. It's about aligning them. When a leader treats organizational success and individual well-being as two sides of the same coin, everything starts to shift. Employees feel seen, valued, invested in, and at the same time, the business thrives. Instead of thinking, we have to push people harder to reach our goals, compassionate leaders ask, how can we support people so they're energized and motivated to achieve those goals? This is a mindset of alignment, not opposition. It means designing roles, teams, and expectations in a way that gives people meaning, autonomy, and connection. It means recognizing that when people feel well, they perform well. So when tension arises between business demands and employee needs, the compassionate leader doesn't default to trade-offs. They look for creative solutions, win-wins, and ways to serve both the mission and the humans behind it. In the long run, this approach doesn't weaken results, it strengthens them. Because when people and purpose are aligned, performance becomes sustainable. Compassion doesn't compete with success. It fuels it. Lesson 4. Practice skillful means hard decisions with kindness. Here's a truth that many leaders wrestle with. Sometimes doing the right thing is uncomfortable. Reorganizations, critical feedback, letting someone go. These aren't easy, but they're often necessary. Compassionate leadership doesn't mean avoiding hard decisions. It means facing them with clarity and delivering them with care. In this lesson, the authors introduce a powerful idea. Skillful means the ability to do hard things in the kindest, most effective way possible. It's not about sugarcoating, and it's not about being overly soft. It's about acting with intention, empathy, and courage. Here's what that looks like. You prepare for tough conversations. You're honest, but not harsh. You lead with facts and follow with care. You recognize emotion, but stay grounded in values. It's a balance, a dance between clarity and kindness, between what needs to be said and how it's said. When leaders practice skillful means, their people may still feel the sting of tough news, but they also feel respected, seen, and, most importantly, safe. Because what breaks trust isn't the hard decision itself. It's when that decision is delivered without dignity. So this lesson asks leaders, when the moment is hard, can you still be human? Can you hold space for discomfort and still act with wisdom? That is compassionate leadership in action. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it. Lesson 5. Transform feedback and accountability into growth opportunities. In compassionate leadership, feedback is not a weapon. It is a gift, and accountability is not punishment. It is a path to growth. Many leaders struggle with giving feedback. They delay hard conversations. They soften the truth until it is unrecognizable. Or they avoid the talk entirely. The result is frustration, confusion, and missed potential. The authors of Compassionate Leadership offer a better way. They say feedback should be frequent, direct, and delivered with care. It should not be buried in praise, postponed until it is too late, or coded in vague language. This is where skillful technique comes in. Leaders are encouraged to script difficult conversations, not to sound robotic, but to stay clear and grounded. They should time conversations thoughtfully, choosing moments when the person is open and not overwhelmed. And they should create space for dialogue so the other person can reflect, respond, and grow. Feedback is a two-way exchange. Accountability does not mean blame. It means responsibility, ownership, and progress. When done right, feedback becomes empowering. It signals, I see your potential. I believe in your growth, and I am here to support it. This lesson reminds leaders that it is not just what you say, it is how, when, and why you say it. Compassionate leaders do not shy away from truth. They step into it with care, because helping someone grow is one of the most human things you can do. Lesson 6. Build a culture rooted in compassion and trust. Organizational culture is not created by slogans or mission statements alone. It grows from the everyday actions and behaviors of leaders and team members. Compassionate leadership teaches us that culture is built through consistent honesty, high standards, psychological safety, and open feedback loops. When leaders act with integrity and kindness every day, they create an environment where people feel safe to speak up, take risks, and learn from mistakes. Psychological safety is essential. It means people trust that they will not be punished or humiliated for being vulnerable or making a mistake. High standards do not contradict compassion. Instead, they raise the bar in a way that encourages growth and accountability. Open and honest feedback loops help the organization adapt and improve continuously. They reinforce trust and transparency. In short, culture is the lived experience of compassion in action. It requires ongoing effort and leadership commitment. When culture is rooted in compassion and trust, teams become resilient, motivated, and aligned. This is the foundation for sustainable success. Lesson 7. Avoid burnout through self-compassion. Leadership is demanding. Without care for their own well-being, even the most dedicated leaders risk burnout. This lesson reminds us that self-compassion is not selfish or indulgent. It is a vital practice for sustaining presence, clarity, and effectiveness over the long term. Leaders who treat themselves with kindness can better manage stress and remain grounded during challenges. By acknowledging their own limits and emotions, compassionate leaders model healthy behavior for their teams. Self-compassion fuels resilience. It replenishes energy and motivation. Ultimately, leaders who invest in their inner lives create a foundation from which they can lead others with authenticity and care. Taking time for self-kindness is not a luxury. It is an essential leadership responsibility. Lesson 8. Move from empathy to compassion. Empathy is the ability to feel and understand what someone else is experiencing emotionally. It allows leaders to connect deeply with their team members on a human level, recognizing their joys, struggles, and challenges. However, empathy alone can sometimes be a double-edged sword. When leaders take on too much of others' emotions, it can lead to emotional overwhelm, fatigue, and even burnout. This is because feeling someone else's pain without clear boundaries can be exhausting and can cloud judgment. That is where compassion comes in. Compassion builds on empathy but adds a crucial element: action. Compassion means not only feeling what others feel, but also responding with kindness, support, and practical help. The authors introduce the concept of rational empathy, a way for leaders to stay emotionally connected without losing objectivity or clarity. Rational empathy means feeling with enough detachment to avoid being swept away by emotion, enabling leaders to act effectively and make wise decisions. This balance allows leaders to maintain their own well-being while still showing genuine care for others. It prevents emotional burnout and supports sustained leadership presence. By moving from empathy to compassion, leaders shift from passive feeling to active engagement. They become a source of strength and support for their teams, able to meet difficult situations with both heart and wisdom. In today's complex and fast-paced work environments, this ability to balance feeling and action is essential. It helps create workplaces where people feel truly understood and supported, while also moving forward toward shared goals. Ultimately, the move from empathy to compassion is a crucial step in becoming a wise, resilient, and human-centered leader. Lesson 9. Use leadership tools rooted in research. Compassionate leadership is not just a feeling or an idea. It's a skill that can be developed and strengthened over time. The authors emphasize the importance of using tools and frameworks grounded in solid research to guide leadership growth. One key tool introduced in the book is the Compassionate Leadership Assessment. This helps leaders evaluate their current strengths and identify areas for improvement in how they balance wisdom and compassion. By using such evidence-based tools, leaders can measure their progress, receive feedback, and stay accountable to their development goals. Research-based frameworks also provide practical strategies for cultivating the core behaviors of compassionate leadership, like presence, courage, candor, and transparency. This approach ensures that leadership development is not left to guesswork or intuition alone, but is supported by proven principles and data. Ultimately, the message is clear. To lead with compassion and effectiveness, leaders must be committed to continuous learning and improvement. By embracing research-backed tools, leaders build greater self-awareness and develop the skills necessary to navigate complexity with care and confidence. In this way, compassionate leadership becomes a sustainable practice, rooted in both heart and science. Thank you for listening to this summary of compassionate leadership, how to do hard things in a human way. The goal was to give you a clear idea of the key lessons and insights from the book, helping you understand how leaders can combine wisdom and compassion to create meaningful impact. If you found these ideas valuable and want to explore compassionate leadership more deeply, I encourage you to buy and read the full book. There, you will discover practical tools, inspiring stories, and detailed guidance to help you lead with heart and courage in your own life and work. Remember, leadership is a journey, one that becomes richer when we lead with kindness and clarity. Thanks again for tuning in. Until next time, keep leading compassionately.